What's rocking, everyone? My name's Joe, and I'm starting a video series explaining how to create your own Django web application using Digital Ocean as your VPS. For the scope of this particular video, I'm going to be going through how to create your own Digital Ocean droplet, how to set up VS Code to connect to that droplet, and then how to set up initially your Ubuntu machine. So to start, you're going to need to have an account with DigitalOcean. So if you don't have an account, go ahead and sign up, go through all the necessary steps to make an account. And I think by default you should have this first project already created automatically, but if you don't, just follow documentation in creating a new project by clicking new project here. Once you have your first project, you can go ahead and start making droplets at will. So what we're going to do is we're going to click create and then droplets. Okay, so once we do that, it's going to prompt us with kind of a configuration. How do we want to configure our droplet? So it's going to ask you, what operating system do you want? So in this case, it's all Linux operating systems, just different distributions of Linux. For me, I'm going to choose Ubuntu on the latest release, and then it's going to choose have us choose our CPU plan next. For this, I recommend the basic plan, and then I do recommend going premium Intel or premium AMD. I do not recommend going to the regular tier option. It is cheaper by $2 or $3, but it is not worth the money saved. If you choose these two, the input and output operations that you have access to are just so slow, and the disk utilization is just crazy. So I would recommend going premium Intel or premium AMD. I would not go for the $56 a month. Go for the $7. Anything higher than that's kind of overkill for just like a blogging website. So that's my recommendation. For the data center region, choose whatever's closest to you. So wherever you're located, for me, it's going to be New York, will be the closest. For authentication, I recommend going SSH key. It's more secure than just a password. So I'm going to run you through how to do that really fast. Let's open up PowerShell, and we're going to type in new SSH key. What we're going to do inside PowerShell is you're going to need to be in your user directory. So I'm going to say cd users, and then you're going to type in your username. In this case, my username is fish. I'm already in my user directory. I'm just going to press enter, though it's not going to do anything. And then the next thing I'd recommend is making a folder that stores your SSH keys. So in my case, it's going to be keys. I already have this folder, so I'm not going to press enter. But for you, go ahead and press enter. It's going to create this directory for you. All right. So now I'm going to cd inside of keys. Okay. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to type in ssh hyphen keygen. Press enter. It's going to ask you to create a name. So for your key, so I'm going to say website. We're going to say website test. Okay. No passphrase, so just press enter for these, and then I need to say cat website test.pub, and we're going to grab all of this and paste it in here, and then I'm going to say website test as the name. When you press add SSH key, DigitalOcean's automatically going to select this key for you, so you don't need to worry about finding it or anything inside of the DigitalOcean domain. All right, sweet. It selected it for us. Now we can scroll down, and I'm going to say down here in lowercase, I'm going to say website test, and then I'm going to create the droplet. Awesome. So now I can go inside VS Code. This is what we're going to be using for our file editing and everything, even command line utilization here. So in order to do that, we're going to need a specific extension, and it's called remote SSH. So right here, we're going to need that. Go ahead and install and enable it. We're also going to need an extension called Django. It just makes things easier. So install and enable that one as well. And then I'm not sure if Visual Studio Code comes with Python by default, so install that as well. And then for quality of life, you may want to download or install the HTML one. You can see I've got this one. It has HTML and CSS. And then you may want like JavaScript. I don't have a JavaScript one, and all of these, by the way, are personal preference. That's why I didn't specifically link any specific one. It's just what you want. All right, so now that we have Visual Studio Code, all the extensions that we'll need, we can go back to the droplet, and it's now fully created, and it has our public IP address available to us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to go down here to open a remote window. Now this little icon here, will only be there after you install the remote SSH extension. So you're going to click it, and up here it's going to say connect to host, open, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go to open SSH configuration file. That's going to be inside of your SSH directory under the config file. All right, I'm going to click that, and I'm going to type in a bunch of stuff here. So this one is going to be website test. So this is the host name you gave your droplet. It's kind of weird, but this one's called host name. This one's going to be your IP address. For user, we're going to be user root, and then identity file is going to be the full path of where our key is sitting, our SSH key. So your user directory, keys, and then this one was called website test, if I'm not mistaken, right? So now that that's done, I can go down here, I can go to connect to host, and I can go to website test. It's going to open up a new window. I'm going to click Linux and then continue. Now you can see here it's opening up the remote SSH instance. Awesome. So now it has opened up remote SSH. Now I can click on the bottom here really anywhere, and I can go to terminal. Now you can see here we are the user root currently. If I type in who am I, you can see I'm root. And once you start up a new virtual machine, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure it's up to date. So I'm going to say apt update with the option of Y for yes. That's going to be pretty quick. After updating, you're going to need to upgrade. So I'm going to say apt upgrade Y. This is going to take a little bit longer. It may prompt you to confirm resetting specific services, and just for everything, just go ahead and press tab if you need to, and then continue or OK. But I'm just going to let this do its thing, and I'll see you when it finishes. All right, so now our virtual machine is fully up to date. Now the next thing we should do is we should create a user, because we do not want to be using the root user to manage our website files or anything. So I'm going to type in add user, and then I'm going to make a user called Sammy. New password, I'm going to make it something really simple so I can remember it. And then I'm just going to spam enter for everything here. And then I need to add Sammy to the sudo group, so I'm going to type this, and then this is the name of your user, obviously, right here. I'm going to do that. And then we can just simply switch user, SU, and then your new user's username. I'm going to CD. I don't need to CD, but I'm going to CD into this user's home directory. You can see here, home Sammy. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start installing the initial packages we need for everything. So sudo apt install MySQL server, lib MySQL client.dev, Python 3 virtual environment, Python 3 dev, libpqdev. Gonna need nginx. We're gonna need Python 3 pip, and then we're gonna need Python 3 virtual env. Type in the password, and I spelled one of the packages wrong. Silly me. Yeah, the P and the Q are backwards. Yes. And then this is going to take a little bit of time to install everything. But this concludes part 1 of the video series. Hopefully it's been easy to follow. It's not super difficult so far. And the next video we're going to be setting up Django and showing you initially how to really just set everything up. So hopefully you enjoyed, and have a good rest of your day.